I said, no, I'm no writer. When it comes to prayer, there's been so many books written on prayer. So he said, why don't you just write Mr. Richard Coffin, that helped you with your first book, at Review and Herald, see what he says about it. Well, Mr. Coffin wrote back and says, yes, send us the 11-page manuscript you have. We want to look at it. And then, of course, the good news came that they wanted me to submit 2 more chapters, and then the entire manuscript. Well, as soon as I started the 2nd chapter, it was during the daytime, the garage door started to open. Now, this is an old garage door. This house, by the way, is 100 years old, a little over 100 years old. The part next to it is new, fairly new. But that garage door is probably 40 years old, and it's one of those rollers up and down with the big springs, and it makes a terrible noise when you raise it and when you lower it. And especially when you get to be, when you bring it down, it's about a foot from the floor. If you happen to let go of the handle, it hits that concrete, and the glass panes, the panes of glass rattle, makes a lot of noise. And it opened 2 or 3 times. I paid no attention to that. Hilda calls me from upstairs, says, come down here and see who's playing at the garage door. I said, I come down. I said, everything's all right. She says, you just sit here and you watch and see. She says, this door has been opening 3 times in the last half hour. Oh. And she said, didn't Greg mow the lawn yesterday? Because I told her, maybe Greg came to get the lawnmower or something. He's going to do the lawn. No, he did it yesterday, she said. Well, I got thinking right away. I can't believe it. See, I thought of the spirits right away. But I said, don't worry about it. It's nothing at all. Sure enough, I was going up the staircase. I hear the thing rolling up and then rolling down. So I said, I'm going to go out there. I went out there, and there was nobody around at all. So I came back in to the Hilda. It's not going to happen again. She says, what do you mean it's not going to happen again? How do you know? I said, I don't know. There's a lot of teenagers around here. They must have opened the door and run. You see? Well, I knew exactly what had taken place. Because that evening, when she went to work, she worked night shift at the hospital. I started to write again. When I started to write, the door started to roll up and down. Every 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, the door would roll up and down. And it would hit concrete, man, and make an awful noise.
So what went through your mind?
Well, I prayed about it. I said, Lord, the spirits don't want me to write this book. But I'm not working for the spirits, I'm working for you. Okay? And I said, if you want me to tell my prayer experience, my prayer life for the last 45 years, you're going to have to help me get rid of those spirits. But it turned out that all that night, that door must have opened 50 times. Because I wrote until 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I realized I was not going to be able to write during the daytime. And the next night, it's the exact same thing. And it went every night that I wrote that manuscript. And I'll tell you what, I told the Lord, the next night, he did it again. I said, Lord, it's okay. You know, this is not heaven on earth. We're in the land of the enemy. So I can't put up with that, you know, as long as my wife is not scared to death. And that's what happened. I wrote the manuscript like this.
And as soon as you finished the manuscript, it stopped.
I'll stop, yeah.
But you know, I can understand why the devil is so angry. You are giving a snapshot of a side of his work that very few people have ever had an opportunity to see and live to tell about. And Ellen White tells us that there is nothing that the devil fears more, Roger, than that his methods and his devices will be discovered and people will have a natural defense against them. So I can understand exactly why he was upset. But praise the Lord's power was stronger and continues to be stronger.
And the Lord has been gracious to me over the years. I've been in some situations on the road with trucks and storms and snow and sleet and things. I was traveling so much. I was traveling anywhere between 25 to 35,000 miles a year. And that's a lot of miles to put on the road all the time. And I've seen so many instances where I could have been killed, man. Well, as a matter of fact, in my book on prayer, I talk about 2 or 3 incidents there.
Well, it occurs to me that there's an old rule that says if you play with fire, you're going to get burned.
Yep.
And fortunately for you, 45 years ago, you were rescued, kind of a brand from the burning.
That's right.
Roger, and your testimony lives on.
Yeah.
You've walked into the shadow of death for 45 years, according to the priest, but if I read correctly in your book, you said you wouldn't mind that as long as the Creator walked with you. And
That's
he
right,
has,
yeah.
hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You've been watching the conclusion to A Trip into the Supernatural, a two-part interview with best-selling author Roger Morneau. This exclusive interview was conducted by Dan and Karen Houghton of Heart Research Center. If you would like to order Roger's book by this same title, or perhaps additional copies of this video interview, call toll-free 1-800-487-4278, or write Heart Research Center, Post Office Box 2377, Fallbrook, California, 92088. Roger Morneau's latest book releases are also available. Since retiring, Roger has dedicated his life to prayer ministry. His books, Incredible Answers to Prayer, More Incredible Answers to Prayer, and When You Need Incredible Answers to Prayer, are full of thrilling miracles. Also available is the Incredible Answers to Prayer companion video. All these and more are available by calling Heart Research Center at 1-800-487-4278.